All right, you are on the platform, and gosh, this guy, our next guest, bloody hard to get hold of. Mind you, that saves me a lot of money on lunch. A good friend of the program, whose progress I was lucky enough to meet when he last came out here. God, I'm going to get your name wrong again. Script writer,
Yeah.
uncancelable man, Graham Linehan. Joins us.
Yes, you got it.
I got it. I nailed it, Graham. Hey, nice to see you, mate.
Nailed
How
it.
are you?
I'm good. I can't see you though. I can only see a
Yeah, and we
picture
were
of
just
the
wondering
practice.
that. I've been waving at you. Gosh, I hope it's
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
feed. If Josh is here, trying to get him to fix
yeah.
that. But I can promise you I'm here and we can see you loud and clear, as it were.
Okay.
Graham,
Well, that's the important
you're
thing.
in Arizona at the moment in the United States.
That's right. Yes, just for a couple of weeks.
All right.
Just prepping something.
How long you
That's
been there?
yeah.
Oh, is this the musical? Is this Father Ted the musical you're working on?
Oh God, no. That's been killed by Hat Trick Productions over here
All
and
right.
my cowardly colleagues.
Yeah.
So that won't be happening. But this is just well, it's kind of a surprise, so I better not say too much. But this
Okay.
is just a kind of recon visit for a retcon, is that the word? For
Recon,
something
yeah.
that's coming up.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting time to be in the States. I
In
wasn't
the
surprised
States.
by the outcome of the
Yeah.
election. Did you see a whole lot of Hollywood celebrities going the other way when you arrived at the airport? We were kind of bracing for hundreds and
Yeah.
thousands of them to come down to New Zealand. What
Yeah,
silly
yeah.
people.
Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting how little effect they had on the election? I mean, I think that's a real sign that things are changing. You know, they what did they go over something like 20 million in spending on people like Beyonce, and Oprah received something like 2.5 million.
Yeah.
So it's like it didn't have any effect. You know, for the same reason I think that doesn't have any like the Oscars are so little watched now. You know, I think people are exhausted from celebrity. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, we had our mainstream media, of course, picked it completely wrong, and then sat there like stunned mullets, saying, "Oh, it's a narrow victory." It wasn't. It was a bloody landslide. And my analysis was
Yeah,
that it was a major victory in the war on woke, not just in America but globally. It was middle
yeah,
America as middle
yeah. I mean,
voters
you're
saying, screw you, screw your elitist claptrap.
yeah, yeah. And it's interesting, isn't it? Like when you have a win like that, it just shows how you are coming across to a big kind of middle of the country who aren't political and they don't really follow it the way that some of the pundits do. The pundits do who were so shocked and taken aback. That big middle, they're just looking to see who seems like the least likely to set the country on fire, you know. And the country's been on fire a few times under the Democrats. So I guess they I mean, isn't it crazy that we're now looking to Trump, or they're looking to Trump for a sense of stability, you know? And that's what it seems to be like. People seem very comfortable here, very happy. They feel like it, you know, from just I've not been here long, but you get this sense of kind of optimism. It's actually quite sweet, you know.
So I was going
I've
to
not
ask
seen
you,
it for a
what is
while,
the mood, or
so yeah, it's great. And
is it full of lesbians saying they won't sleep with men anymore? I thought that's what was happening.
well, this is Arizona, so the mood here would be a lot more kind of John Wayne-ish, I guess, than other places, you know.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I mean, and I have to say, I got into the country. I thought it was very interesting because I remember the old days where when you got into America, you were a little bit intimidated because the border people had a terrible reputation as unfriendly, all this sort of thing, you know. And I now wonder how much of that was true, you know, because it's just been pure friendliness from the time we arrived. You know, I don't know. It just seems like the same welcoming, happy country, and it's yeah, it's just lovely. And but I'll tell you the thing that I think is different is this woman, Nancy Mace. Have you been following her?
Yes, a little bit. Tell us about, look, fill the audience in on that.
Well, the thing I've been fighting about for the last 5 years is that very, very obvious statements like women deserve single-sex spaces became kind of artificially controversial because most people agree with that.
Yeah.
But a certain number of gatekeepers, it's not that they don't agree with it, they've just done their best to make sure that the argument is never made. And Nancy Mace has just come out of the gate like at top speed, and they keep trying to put her on the back foot, they keep trying to make her feel bad, and she sticks to her central message, which is that she's a survivor of rape. She knows how important single-sex spaces are, and she's not giving them up for anyone, including congresswomen. So it's just an amazing moment to see what has been, in the weirdest way, a kind of a niche subject to talk about. It's been made to feel niche. She's now put it front and center as is incredibly important for women and girls.
Yeah.
So it's a great moment, and I just feel full of optimism for what's coming next.
Yeah. And it's amazing, the left always says, or the crazies always say, there is no culture war, there's no debate here. Well, there is, and you just lost it. It would be my impression.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit.
That was the problem, that they didn't turn up for the war, and so it was won in their absence.
Yeah. Hey, I need to ask you too about things back home in Britain. And maybe it's my algorithm, maybe it's my echo chamber, maybe it's because I've been concentrating on stuff here. I seem to be getting the impression that Keir Starmer's Britain is losing some ground, particularly on freedom of speech. And this idea that people are being held criminally responsible for their social media posts, and the cops are turning up and arresting them for what they say on Facebook. Have I got that wrong? Is that just my algorithm, or is there a real issue there in Britain at present?
I think you put that in exactly the right way. It's not quite an emergency in the sense that it's been happening now for 5 years. I've been visited by the police twice. I've had phone calls from the police on behalf of some of the most, dodgy men imaginable. So for a while, the police have been acting as a kind of unofficial kind of goon squad for anyone who happens to pick up the phone and say, I'm offended, even when the people who are picking up the phone are criminals, which is what happened to me. So it's been in place for a while, but what's happening now, which has taken it up a notch, is that they came to the home of Alison Pearson, a conservative journalist, and they told her that she was under investigation. She said, for what? And they wouldn't tell her. And then when she said, well, who can I meet my accuser? And she said, no. And they said, no, that we call them the victim. So it was like the
that seems quite pejorative.
Yes.